Good morning and good afternoon, LinkedIn friends. Welcome to another episode of Let's Build Your Assistants today. I guess usually we're talking about audience with Mr. Oaks. I was trying to figure out how we could call these guys your audience inside of HubSpot. I couldn't get there, so we just went right with that. We're building assistants today.
Yeah,
How we doing, Mr. Oaks?
I am doing pretty well. How are you?
I am having a lot of fun with Breeze in HubSpot. I share something on almost every piece of content, no matter what it's about, because we cannot get the message out fast enough of some powerful things that were gifted to us just a couple of weeks ago now. Can't believe that was 2 weeks
Yes.
ago, but here we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. I had the advantage of not being at Inbound, an extra week of playing around with the new tools that everybody going to all of those boring events and like empty sessions and presentations, with a bunch of people that no one has heard of. That's true. Inbound, at least remotely, seemed amazing. And so, as a consolation, I was working with agents and assistants and all of the new features
Yeah.
from home while everybody
Getting
is
right to
out
the
there.
building, getting right
Yes.
to the building, not wasting any time. And I'm glad we have this opportunity. Kind of why we do regular occurring content now. Always gives us an opportunity to talk about things that are relevant to the audience. Kind of goes hand in hand with our usual theme here. Because it's AI today. And I think it's important that we take a couple minutes, and we're going to try our best to keep it to a couple minutes. Agents and assistants, the difference in your words, Mr. Oaks.
Um, I would describe, we're going to talk about assistants today, and I would describe assistants as exactly what I asked multiple HubSpot product managers for over the last couple of months, which is something like a custom GPT or Claude project inside HubSpot that has awareness of my portal, its records, its configuration. Um, that if you used or built a custom GPT or a Claude project before, that makes a lot of sense. If you haven't, you can think of it as Claude or ChatGPT that operates within HubSpot that you can bring your own additional context to, which is something we'll talk about as we do this. And agents are a little more heavyweight than that, although hopefully we'll see that even assistants can be pretty useful. But they are more autonomous and have the ability to do more things, take more actions, and particularly kind of go off and do something for me and report back actions than assistants. And they have some additional like technical infrastructure and constraints and things like that to protect them. And as I always feel like I need to point out, until we, as an entire industry, have sorted out how safety and security work with agents, there is more risk there. We don't have a full picture of what the protections and things are yet from HubSpot. That is not a reason not to try out the agents, but they have their, right now, all of their own built in agents that I would feel very confident recommending people go and try out in their portals.
Yeah.
How's that?
And
Is that a clear breakdown?
I think so. And just to like send the message home, what we are not talking about today is agents. And if you would like more information, I had some fun with Nico on Saturday, just coming in to the Breeze marketplace and cloning every single agent that was available and seeing what happens when you just, click a couple buttons, and based on the information in your portal, it just goes, right? And you get these outcomes that are pretty amazing, right? But again, it's agentic work. It's like, okay, I've got the job. Thanks, Chris. I'm gonna go away, get it done. What's interesting as we move into assistance is that sometimes Breeze Assistant will suggest that he could act like that on my behalf, even though he cannot. So whenever he says, "Yeah, I'm gonna start working on that," it's like, "Okay, I
Yes.
appreciate it, buddy. But unless you finish it in this chat, I know you
Yeah.
didn't do it, right?"
Yes.
So
Yeah. I've run into more than one of those where I say like, "Hey, can you do this thing?" And it says like, "Yeah, hold on, I'll report back." And I'm like, "Oh, right, okay." After you get a couple of those, and then you go check its work, you're like, "Oh, it has no idea
yeah.
what to do." Um, yeah. The
So
yeah.
what
I
we
mean, maybe
are
we can leave it
talking
at
about
that.
today,
Yes, is assistance. Um, So yeah, the agents are like go do work for me, and generally speaking, the assistants are help me do my work or do work with me. Is a good breakdown.
yeah.
Anybody who has used Claude or ChatGPT, like as a sidecar, you've got HubSpot here and Claude or ChatGPT over here, and you're asking it a question or getting content and then going back. This is an opportunity to explore. We'll look at some easy first entries into using Breeze to replace or augment that to do this right in HubSpot with you. So the one that I'm going to pull up here first, these are, I guess, another thing that I would say is we don't yet generally have the ability to create your own agent, kind of expecting that to be a developer program kind of thing, at least for public release. Maybe you'll be able to roll your own in your portal, but you can easily create your own assistant right now, and it looks a lot like what a custom GPT or a Claude project looks like. You give it a name, a welcome message, you give it instructions. This would be like the project instructions in Claude. You can give it access to knowledge. We'll look at all of this in a second, and then you give it an icon and a name, right? And can publish it. So it's a very easy way to kind of um, get started here. So I'm going to pull up and look at the ones that we're going to look at today. Are our process explainer, a sales response helper, a brand bot, and FTD helper. This is a very specific application for companies for franchises. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. So process explainer, I'm going to pull up here, and this is a sidecar here if I'm working in HubSpot and I have a question about some aspect of my business process, the things that I, as a employee, need to do, where I find information, what the steps are. I can just ask it rather than having to remember where that training is, or did I do that training, or even go find an explainer video and watch it, or those things often involve logging into an external LMS, which is we all know would be ideal um, way for people to keep their knowledge up to date, but it is not something that you can always get 100 or 80 or 40% compliance on. But right
which
in
maybe
your
makes
flow of
it
work, yes,
which maybe makes it a little less than ideal sometimes.
absolutely, especially if you are, if it's a quick question like, oh, how do I do this thing real quick, and you're about to go into a meeting and it takes 2 minutes, but you forget, did I start in the other system, or like, what do I need to look it up? And you can ask and execute right here. So I put all of these are tightly scoped down assistants into my sandbox so that I am not exposing all of the, all of the information for our examples here. But for example, on the FranDev lab side of the work that I do, I often look up information about a franchise that is available in the FDD document that they publish, but is not available in enrichment data sources always. So where can I find the number of locations for a business to add to HubSpot? I'm just going to be very explicit here.
Yeah. And like, how much of the information that enables these assistants already existed?
Uh, all of it. So in the case of this process explainer, what I did to replicate this in my sandbox was download a PDF of the process from my Notion home base and upload it in the Knowledge Vault to this document. As a matter of fact, actually, I may have used HTML rather than PDF. But I just pulled the existing documentation for my production version of this and uploaded it to a Knowledge Vault, which we'll look at the configuration of this in a second. But you can see here, it read through that existing documentation and said, okay, got it. You're trying to find the number of locations. And it says, this is information published in. Again, this is boring, but just so that it makes sense. There's this document that gets published by every company, and they include a whole bunch of information in it. It's legally mandated, and it's really useful to have when talking to prospects or to the business itself. And so it says, download the FDD. It's in this space, and then it's on the company record, which is in a different portal. So I'm not going to show you the round trip of this, but update it from the information in the FDD. Now this gave me the breakdown, but it says use the relevant state websites. So I'm going to ask it what websites. Let's see if it figures it out.
And I think it's so important, like the beauty of AI. Now, this of course comes with the caveat of using it responsibly, is that it will work with whatever you got, right? And it will try to. So if you're thinking about these new tools and you're coming at it from a perspective, oh, it's another thing I have to set up. I got to go learn how to do it because I've never done it before. If you think you're having to create from scratch anything, like message me because I will show you where there is some piece of information, some PDF, some website, some transcript recording of a call you just had about your internal process that you can start with to build into these knowledge vaults, right? This is not meant to make you recreate all of your process from scratch. It's meant to enable that stuff in ways that is very much not like the local drive, like go to marketing, go to the M drive, and then
it's in
go
SharePoint,
to social.
What's it called? Or do I know which of the, have the steps been broken down into, is this, would this process be called,
is it the right version?
Information from FDD, or is it like where to find the individual items? Like, what am I searching for? And LLMs are perfect for trying to infer what I mean when I type these. And I'll show you some really terse examples when we do the sales response helper in a minute, because this one has been tuned to be used. Well, I'll tell you later when we get there. So let's look at the configuration of this real quick. I'll go over here, and it's very, this one is very skeleton because, again, I was just replicating it for our example here. But so here's our process vault, and it has, so it was a PDF. So download FDD and update HubSpot properties is the name of that process, which is just a PDF dump from Notion, no edits, right?
Can you just click on that that add button under CRM objects
Yes.
real quick.
Oh, under CRM objects.
Like, just drink this in, people. Like, if you've been using GPT projects or cloud projects or whatever, it very obviously is exclusively focused on web access and any files that you can give it.
Right.
When I saw this, like contacts, companies, deals, tickets, knowledge articles, blog posts, landing pages, what I've been saying for the past year is why I coach people the way that I do is that it's 95% of the work is the data model of HubSpot. What are you doing in HubSpot? The building stuff is getting easier and easier, and it's getting easier and easier because now if you have your context in HubSpot in any of these formats, whether it's CRM records or content, I was surprised the first time I did it for Value First. I was getting ready, like, all right, it's time to migrate the cloud projects over. Let me go to my G Drive. Like, I have a specific template of this is how projects get set up. So I'm just going to go grab the files over there. And then I saw the blog post option, and I had just published a bunch of blog posts that were made from all of these docs, but it was all explanation of Value First. And I was like, oh, I don't have to add static files to support this process. And basically, if you can think about CRM objects are meant to be like dynamic support as knowledge for these, because you get your teams always updating this stuff. You're going to talk about flywheel. Like, man,
Yeah.
Otherwise you're managing, these files, and you're managing version control. That's where this is such a dramatic shift. If you're in sales enablement and you're responsible for the team having tools, because what's inevitable is, especially inside of offices, like people print stuff out and put it on the wall so they can see it.
Right.
They download it and put it on their local PC, right? And once their version control is gone, we can try as hard as we want to kind of control that process. But they do that because now it's inside of their process. It's always there no matter where they are at.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah. And available within seconds, right? Like that's one of the reasons the context switching and the friction and the like breaking your headspace of like, oh, I need to go look up that process, right? Or even if it's like a step-by-step guide or something like that, it still is not in the flow of work. The parenthetically here, um, all of the work that I've been doing with AI, my conclusion is I have 3 guidelines that I've developed for setting up an AI task or project for success. ABC, always bring context. That's what we're doing here. Keep your tools where you work, right? You don't put your hammer in the refrigerator. Where you are working is where you want your AI tools. The closer they are to the place you're working, the better. An assistant right in your sidebar in HubSpot is the definition of that. And sculpt your data. You need to be able to tell AI what's important about your business so that you get good answers back and not have it be sifting through a haystack for a needle every time. And assistants do all of those things. That's what's so fantastic about them. And this is a great example of all of those things. Like in the case of like product knowledge or, all kinds of things. Internal knowledge base articles, like fantastic for that kind of thing, right? Just to like, what are the limits to some record, whatever, for your SaaS? Ask the assistant, and it can tell you and cite the article right there while you're working, right?
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's a mind shift. And I was talking with Lucia Ball earlier today on Let's Build a Super Admin, and trying to get people to go from admin to AI orchestrator. like is what we're talking about here,
Yeah.
because so much of what your job was is enabling teams in the way that we're describing. And if you can realize how much of a partner AI can be, like your job just got 100 times easier, 100 times more fun. Like and you're actually going to enable people.
Yeah, and you know, like the do you want to go to a weekly meeting where you're explaining to people what the processes are and please remember them, or do you want to just have that conversation and be like, oh, I asked Process Explainer and it told me exactly what to do is great, right? Like these are this is a whole new tool set for making our clients, our users' lives so much easier and faster, right?
Yeah. And when you get
I've used
those
them.
responses, which represent true adoption, right? I did this and got this result, and they have a smile on their face as they're saying it. The inevitable next sentence is, do you
What
think we
else can
could
we
do
do?
this too?
Yes, exactly.
Like,
Yes.
right? The whole
Yeah.
dynamic changes, right?
Yeah, for sure. And that's one of the reasons I'm showing off these four, right? These are low-hanging fruit. Most businesses have their processes in somewhere, right? If even if you have them all in a Word doc and nobody has updated it in a year, just dump that Word doc. You know, these things accept Word docs. Dump it in that format, right? And just get started. It's super easy.
Yep.
There's all of these instructions here, like you can, you know, like a Claude project, you can give Breeze instructions on like, here's how to handle requests, here's what to do if there's information, whatever, you know. For three of these, I was trying to think about this. I actually had, if anybody hasn't built these before that watches this, um, you know, the trick is to have AI write the instructions for your projects. Just give it a high level, tell it this is what I'm trying to accomplish, this is how I want to use you. If I say this, I want that, blah, blah, blah. And I voice dictate those. I turn on dictation and I ramble for 250 words and then say, you know, give me a prompt that it will be fast, accurate, and precise every time. And these were written by Breeze Assistant. So I went into the general Breeze Assistant and said exactly what I did, but I also said you are you lead with you are an expert prompt and context engineer that is an expert at creating AI assistant instructions, and then told it what I wanted and took a couple of tweaks on these, but I used existing documentation to upload to that knowledge vault, and I had Breeze write the instructions. That, you know, that's a 15-minute task to set up something like this and roll it out to the team and say like, hey, try to break it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that's where it's like whatever
play with this.
Whatever docs you have, like you can start from the core Breeze Assistant and say, hey, I want to help my team use this thing. Like, can I create an assistant? Can you help me create an assistant? Write some instructions. This infrastructure that we talk about, like, yeah, like use AI to help you build that out, because it's the one receiving the instructions.
Yes. And it's so much more effective. It also, you know, the human coaching side of this is, you know, personally, I view prompts as like a way station between where we are now and where even like assistants, not even necessarily agents, are going to be. But prompts are the command line interface of AI, right? Like we're going to figure something else better out.
Oh, that's such a good example.
Yes.
Because I could go read about some command line stuff to do, but I won't know what happens after I hit enter.
Right.
Right. I won't know how to interact.
Unless you got it wrong, well, at least you'll get an error, which
right.
is true of
Well,
AI.
I don't know how to react to the response at all. Even if it was an error, I wouldn't know how to troubleshoot it. And that's why, like, just be careful with, you know, when the Loop marketing playbook came out, it's like, all right, here's 100 prompts that you can go use. Right.
Yes.
It's like, if you don't know how to have a conversation after you put those prompts in, the order that
Yes.
you need to do them in, all this stuff,
Yeah.
right? That's why, like,
Or like, okay, I did the prompts. Do I have a loop yet?
yeah, be
Bless a phrase
careful.
I learned when I moved to the South. Bless their hearts. Like I understand why they released the 100 prompts library, but it's like, oh man,
Yeah.
that's
And
gonna.
just know that, like, yes, that is like, you don't have to start from scratch, but know that that's helping you start the actual conversation that you're going to have with
Yes,
AI. It's not going to output an answer for you to go implement,
right.
right?
And don't feel like you have to do all 100 of those prompts.
Yeah.
Just pick,
Yeah.
5
Honestly,
prompts.
just start showing up on video on social and
Yes,
watch AEO
yes.
happen.
Um, so let's close out Process Explainer to say, like, it said, okay, use one of these websites, download FTD, pull that information, and update the HubSpot record. At some point, I will build an agent for this. I have done a lot of work around this problem, FYI, and these documents are pretty complex and also getting them tends to be hard for agents for various reasons that we don't need to get into. It's a different show. So pulling it down, storing it, and then capturing the information manually, there's 5 fields, is what tends to work best right now. But it didn't say, I said, how do I update that information? And it gave me the steps, but didn't tell me where. So I said, what websites? And again, went and looked through my documentation and said, here are the states where you can download that information for free, and links out, and I could go search, right? So right there, uh,
Yeah.
responding to my questions, giving me how, again, rather than me trying to figure out, like, okay, what do I search for in the process? And then they're like, okay, steps 1 through 7 don't apply because I'm down in the middle. And right, so much easier for our users, right? Like
Can
this
you
is the context I want to give um, folks that I'm trying to help adopt HubSpot more effectively. I want answers in seconds for them.
right before you click
Yeah.
X, can you click on the one source,
Yes.
right?
So it's showing me my file that I uploaded.
Yes. So this is not nearly in in a lot of cases, it's not nearly as black boxy as it used to be, or you feel like it could be, because these sources, like, I've seen, you know, really anything it's accessed can be found
Yeah.
there. Knowledge base articles, internal stuff, external websites, right?
Yeah. And if the response, like I said, this is a subset of the processes that I have in my portal. But if you had knowledge articles and it was pulling this information from more than one source, it'll show up here and say 4 sources, and you can expand it and see, like, there's 2 knowledge articles, there's there's an uploaded PDF, and there's whatever, something else, right? Like, and point them all out for you so that you can go double check. Or if you were looking for a specific piece of information and you get a citation here that's like, you know, I gave the example of like water plan limits or something earlier. It would say, you get it looks like this. It'll say, oh, the limits for this feature are whatever, and you can click. It takes you directly to the article if you need to drill down, or you can just ask for, more information as well.
All right, we got one done.
Yes. So these will be faster because we don't need to explain as much.
Yeah.
So sales response helper. This one is, a lot of sales enablement and training goes into battle cards and competitive matrices and, all of the, like, company product market knowledge. And then I don't know if anyone watching or you have ever experienced, you do all of that and you want to be good, and you get on a call and they say, like, oh, well, what about, we're thinking about this competitor. And you're like, oh crap, which one was that, right? And if you're on a sales call and you need quick access to information and you don't have that memorized, or it's changed, or there's a new entrant, or you're new to the company, you need super fast answers, right? And so having again, available in seconds, like, help me out, don't be distracting. Um, the I've put this together. And, in our series here, we've used an example of a company selling white glove, hands-on project management software for small businesses. And so I've preloaded some data based on that. And so for our sales response helper, let's pretend that I am on a call with, initial like intro call with a prospect, and they say we're using Monday.com right now. And so all I'm going to ask it is Monday.com.
I hope it starts with an apology.
I should add that to the custom instructions. So gives me bullet points here to be able to skim and mostly serve as a reminder, right, for the rep who's on the call, and it's trained with um, information about like where Monday.com is strong, what we do differently, how to position against it, and what to focus on in that conversation. So I now have, I might have printed out a battle card, as you referred to, and to be able to glance over. And by the time I'm, if I've been in this role for 6 months or 9 months, I have this down, right? But if I need a quick reference, here it is, right? Like, and I can just say, um, you know, the advantage of our company is, in our demo context here, it's like we provide the tools and we do the white glove onboarding, blah blah blah, right? I have all my context right here really quickly. So that's the like I need talking points in 4 seconds, like where if your meeting record is up here and you ask that, like where else can you get competitive talking points in 4 seconds? Um,
Yeah.
but with a properly trained sales response helper, we can also do something more effective, like like give me, let's say, give me.
And like, so imagine if like HubSpot's come very far in terms of HubSpot calling, right? So teams are working in the portal. You're on the phone, right? And you can have this like right next to you. Depending on, there's so many tools to keep up with. Some tools like that are meeting recording tools, and like it's not far. And I think some are already here, but I'm guessing we're not far away from it from HubSpot's perspective, to where you just have an assistant like on the video call, like with you, listening in, giving you live
Yes.
like coaching feedback, right?
Yes.
And
And
again,
so,
so
where do you need that context? If in a future like that, you need it in HubSpot, right?
yes,
Yes,
and if
exactly.
you have assistants like this built out, it gets that much better.
Yeah. So, what we've done here for that example is for our example company, we've talked about an audience profile that is needs to move into like real project management software, but they everybody is using their own system and their own process, right? And so, I see this all the time. Anybody who's worked for more than one company or more than a year will have seen this. Department A thinks the process is this. Department B, for some reason, they have a handoff and they both have totally different perspectives on what that process is, right? Uh, that for a salesperson who's like going into a discovery call, the second call, knowing that that is the context, right? So I just said, give me an intro. The prospect doesn't feel like they have solid processes, right? So a point of friction, this would be a trap in the who first terminology. I don't feel like I can buy project management software because we aren't ready to put our processes, our systems into them yet because they're a mess. We don't really have them. And so, like, we don't want to buy it and then, like, spend 6 months trying to, like, figure out our processes, put them in, right? And
we need to
so,
get our ish together first.
yes, which is like, I mean, anybody give us a thumbs up if you're in SaaS sales and you've heard that before 10 times a day. So, you know, we have talking points here that we want to keep our assistant up to date on, like instead of, well, I'll give an example in a second, and transition through like, this is from our USP, right? Like we don't just hand you the software, we build the project management system with you step by step. You get a dedicated specialist, learns your business, builds out your process guides, blah, 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 right? If you have these narratives put together, again, available so that one took all of 5 seconds, right, to put it together, and available to the rep. So like, again, you want good meeting prep, this is what we're looking for.
This feels very similar to playbooks.
Yes. I feel like 2 or 3 times a week, I say to somebody at HubSpot, like, we got to get playbooks connected to meetings better. But there's a lot of knowledge sharing in sales orgs that happens, what we used to say call over the water cooler, where reps share like, oh, I handled an objection this way, and it really resonated with the prospect, and it's sharing war stories. Like, oh, the prospect didn't feel like they didn't want to, they're really interested, but they were hesitant because they didn't have their processes together. And here's how I framed it. Here's exactly what I said, right? And every rep evolves those strategies over time. But if you're lucky, those get shared rep to rep, and occasionally, on weeklies or whatever, they get shared up to a manager, that kind of thing. But most orgs have a hard time getting that encoded and accessible to everyone. Like, here's the best, thing that we hear is working, relating to customers and resonating right now, and certainly have trouble getting that over to marketing, right? But if we can get all of those best practices encoded in our documentation, and again, this is just uploaded in a knowledge vault. In this case, it's we've got markdown files, differentiators and key competitors, value prop components, my PDF got in there, unique, the USPs for the company, and then the messaging framework around sales and marketing, right? Those came out of a Claude project where those were all pulled from and restructured from like brand documents and interviews, that kind of thing. So again, like get those things available to sales reps at a moment's notice. And one of the reasons, I'll just say, that we separate these assistants into like really specific functionality is the search is faster, more precise. You're less likely to get noise or hallucinations or whatever if you can constrain the context. I said guideline number 1, always bring context to the problem that you're solving, right? So you want your assistants to be tasked with like pretty specific problems within a specific domain, and then your instructions, and again, this one was entirely written from my instruction within 5% tweaks at the end by Breeze for me.
Yep.
So
and then you give them the engineered context.
Yes.
For them to work with.
Yep. Tell it exactly what it needs to know to do that well.
And that's really like, if you're thinking that I've already made playbooks, I've already had these cloud projects or GPT projects that do this stuff, and I don't know if I want to redo it, like, you're in the best position.
Bring it
to
over.
Leverage these tools.
Create an assistant. Don't change anything. Bring your prompt exactly. Bring your documents exactly, and see how it works. I actually haven't tried that, but that is exactly how I would approach it. I've been building kind of net new things within Breeze Assistant. So let's do a real quick one. Go ahead, finish what you're saying.
And if you're thinking like, why can't I just do it over there? Like, the variable that changes is the proximity shout out to Rob Jones for falling in love with that word right now. The proximity to the users. It's inside HubSpot now. It's not in the other
Yes.
place, right? And just that alone is a huge upgrade to value. Even if it doesn't, like, I'm totally with Oaks in terms of like, try it without changing anything, like first, and get other people to try it. Because now the feedback loop will get shorter and faster, and it will get better. And now that it's in here and Breeze is working like an intelligence layer in HubSpot, basically, I don't know if I'm using the term right, but like how small language models, like they work within a specific kind of context, and that's different from, ChatGPT and Claude, which are always working. If you don't give them instructions, they will always go back to their December 2024 understanding of the world and start from there. This is going to be in a place where it will only work in the context of your business, like at a default state, and it's continuing to learn from your users. So an idea I just had, like if you're trying to, like the faster you get your users to start talking to Breeze through these assistants, the faster Breeze will learn about the true context of your business, right? That is why you take
Yes.
whatever you've already done, just get it in here, right? That's how it's designed. Thankfully, all these assistant-like tools are built to work the same way, right? AI is built to help you in this way that we're describing. So it's not like, oh, I was using Salesforce, now I gotta do HubSpot. Like, not at all. It is the opposite of that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Breeze is backed by, um, I think, ChatGPT, so it's going to function the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this brand bot, we'll do this one real quick. It's probably obvious. And there is a brand assistant template that you can start from, even if having Breeze write the instructions even seems a little bit daunting. I can see how it would for sure. And this one is this starts to veer into territory that is where there's a little bit more friction getting users to ask these kinds of questions, right? Like the process explainer and the sales response helper I showed first, because those are scenarios where somebody is like, I need a piece of information, maybe desperately, to accomplish a task that is critical to my role, and I need it right now, right? Those are easy wins. BrandBot, nobody who's like writing a sales email to a prospect, um, or even a marketing email, unless you are like actually a copywriter who's accustomed to working with brand tone and voice. Uh, First thought is like, let me ask a bot if this is a good subject line or whatever. But it is the kind of thing where um, I don't know what the general uptake is, but I do get a sense from talking to people that they are more willing to throw like an entire email into Claude or ChatGPT and ask it to brush it up. But
Yes.
there are a lot of people who have tried that in the past and then got back
Polish,
garbage, like
polish,
it's like,
polish this
yeah,
email, please.
right. And it's like, oh, that's better, but it kind of, there's no soul, or it feels very AI or
All right.
whatever, right? And so there's this like um, necessity to bring again, sculpt the data. You tell AI what's important, and ABC always bring context, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And
so yeah,
because it's conversational and natural language and it's AI and not humans, right? Like it's governance and enablement without risk of being a dick about it. Like, because
yes,
when I see that ask, I remember a day where I had to, confirm things with a corporate branding identity team, also affectionately known as the sales prevention department, uh, to where like Oh, Chris, like, can you just open up the 100-page slide deck and right there on slide 42, it would tell you exactly what the email is supposed to look like.
Yeah, we did a training a year ago. Like, what's the problem? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
doesn't
have,
work, folks.
yeah, and I have empathy for both,
Yeah,
but both ends of that teeter totter.
for sure.
Uh,
Because
but
when the email goes out and is not on brand,
right.
that corporate team's going to hear about it.
Yes.
But when it closes the deal, not a lot of people
Right.
matter about that part.
Well,
So.
yes, except then when it closes the deal and the um, expectation that was created because you used language to close the deal starts to
Yeah.
drift from the actual controlled expectations we are trying to set for success, then you have some inherent conflicts, right? So the more tools that are easy to use in the place where you're working like this to help, the better, right?
Yes,
Um,
indeed.
so as just an example, I just like how's this for a subject line, right? Get visibility into your pipeline. That's a terrible email subject line, right? And gives me kind of a summary here, but says like it's corporate jargon, which is discourage your brand guidelines. Guidelines encourage conversational peer-to-peer style. Suggest action-oriented, pragmatic language that feels specific and energetic, right? So I can get some
And
edits and some rewritten options. Go ahead.
And if you were doing this, you're on a contact record screen and you have an email up and you highlight the piece of the email, yes. Breeze, I'm not sure, it's not 100% of times, but often if you've highlighted stuff on the page and then you're asking Breeze for help with that, there'll be a button. Do you want to use this instead? And then you click the button and then it replaces the text, right?
Yes.
So literally that's how where you work this is.
Yes. And I think we're at the there seems to be, I'm experiencing some differences between the general Breeze Assistants. Like if I click on, let's see, I want to get back out to my assistant chooser. So like this Breeze Assistant here, which is my general, is like my portal level, no special knowledge vaults, etc. It seems to behave differently than where's BrandBot than the specific assistants that I created. But I think we're at the beginning, and we will see a lot more like convergence and parity there.
Yeah.
So FYI, if you run into that, but it is.
And you
like
think that's
exactly
because, like, the base assistant is also designed to understand the context, or try and understand the context of whatever page you happen to be on at the time.
And the custom assistants do as well. They just I've opened Windows side by side, one with the Breeze Assistant, general Breeze Assistant, and one with a custom assistant on the same record, and ask them questions, and I get different responses back. And I've added, I've tried to trick the custom assistants by saying like, you have access to all HubSpot tools. Always check all HubSpot tools to query the record before. That hasn't worked. That's some more advanced level stuff. If you're creating your first assistant, skip all of this stuff. But I fully think that's because we're in early beta with these, and we'll see some of that stuff come together.
Only gonna get better.
Yeah. So like pull open, like you said, go into a contact record, use an email template, drop it in, and say like anything I want to add, or in your brand bot, say like I want to emphasize whatever ease of use. Don't ever try to convey ease of use in an email. But if you're going to add something like that, update this email with a focus on ease of use with our brand language, right? And then take that back in. Super useful. And I guess we're on track for like 20 minutes per per assistant here. So I'll show this one real quickly. This is, I said FTD, it's this legal document that's blah, blah, blah. You don't need to know the details, but it's a a document governed by the Federal Trade Commission. The franchises have to put out once a year at least, and it's provided to states, and it governs. It's like a major fulcrum of how that industry operates and things they can do and say. So a sales rep needs, like with the sales response bot, they need to stay within certain parameters of what they can and can't say, information they can and can't give. But referencing the FDD is a common task in that context, right? So it contains all kinds of information about like starting up a franchise business and blah, blah, blah. That contains a lot of information. It's a really interesting document. It's going to be boring for our listeners. But like if you wanted to start a plumbing franchise with a plumbing company, it tells you how much it costs to start the business based on historical data. So I've got hopefully I've successfully redacted all of the FDD information from the source files here. But if I need a refresher on what the startup costs were, like if the document was just updated, what are total, let's say, let's use the, this is what, initial investment. This is how the rep would actually phrase it. What is the total initial investment? And it's a more complex document. There's a lot more. They can run hundreds of pages, and so gives me a summary here that the 4,300 square foot is expected location, build out $723.
What about Texas? Does that apply to Texas?
The law or the costs?
The costs.
They generally do not break them down by state.
Okay.
But they do back them with information. So everyone would know this at a franchise, but here's another example. Initial franchise fee. So there you go. It gives me the breakdown, pricing structure, etc. One of the things in these documents is there's a disclosure of famous personalities. So if like I don't know if you know this, famously Shaquille O'Neal owns a lot of franchises, but if they do like appearances or things like that, they have to disclose that for transparency, to be like, is somebody a paid promoter or what's going on, right? So that's disclosed in the FDD. So if I just say famous people, because I need a list, in my dummy data, here's my famous people, and in my terms, none of them have any management or control of the company. They are not compensated for appearing in promotional materials, right? So
some interesting public figures there.
Well, it's a pretty big franchise, so
yeah. Okay.
So again, like this is more akin to like I said, it can be hundreds of pages. There's like giant data tables in it, so it's a little bit more. This becomes a context engineering opportunity, creating this for clients where we need to make sure the data is broken down and structured correctly to be to maximize retrieval and accuracy. But it's a lot more like a technical reference kind of interaction model here. But if somebody's been in the franchise business for a long time, they know the structure of the document. They know what each of the items in it contains and what to find there. And if you're a rep and you've been with a brand for years, you more or less have it memorized and you can just operate yearly on the diffs. But there's always going to be something that you might need a quick answer to that you don't want to, or that defer, or if the prospect says like, well, what about this? You can ask real quickly and be like, okay, that's in that's an item, whatever, and so on. So that's an example of how our first three assistants were a little bit more company industry agnostic, right? Like everybody has sales questions, everybody has processes, everybody has brand standards. Um, if you have, you can often find this quick wins, low hanging fruit in these if you have something that's nuanced or complicated about your business that is either not a decisioning matrix kind of thing. It's not like there's 92 parameters and then I can figure something out at the end. That would be a lot to bite off for your first assistant. But if it's like, we have this like massive amount of information that is industry specific, that is really nuanced, but I can get it into a Word doc, a Markdown file, a PDF, and put it into one of these assistants, and I can just make it instant retrieval for these more complex, more specific types of knowledge, is a great first assistant project that hopefully in your organization can really demonstrate how helpful and nuanced these can be. Versus, I would never lead with the brand bot. I would lead with either something specific like this, or I'd lead with the process helper, because that's a common point of friction.
Yeah. Yep. And if you are in a place where you're wanting to do brand or business rules engine kind of things, like I know some people are starting to talk about related to CPQ. There are options. Just don't start with the assistants. Like data hub and all that fun stuff is becoming really powerful. So when we say like unify and centralize your business context in HubSpot, it's possible now. Like it doesn't have to be and shouldn't be just the marketing and sales data, right? We're not saying HubSpot is the place that generates all of that context, but you can bring it all in now. And when you do, you can leverage AI in ways that everybody wants, right? But when you don't do this context engineering part, you're gonna have a hard time in the first moments of using assistants. They will get better and learn over time as you tell them how wrong they are. But that's just as much on you as the humans in the organization as it is on the AI that you're asking to help you and assist you. So aside from just getting started, any takeaways, any last takeaway for the audience?
I mean, my more drill down on these might be helpful, but again, my guidelines: ABC, always bring context, keep your tools where you work, and sculpt your data. Make sure that you are telling AI what's important, not hoping it will figure it out.
There you go. Well, it's been awesome, man. Thanks for sharing your experiences and what you've already been doing. Excited for the next episode. Maybe we'll be building agents when we're 2 weeks away. Either way, we're gonna try hard to make sure you know what's available to you in HubSpot and how you can create better experiences for your customers with those tools, internally and externally. So until next time, thanks so much, Mr. Oakes.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.